Hello everyone and welcome back to the Winning Agendas coverage of the OTSL 2023. I'm Jesse Muehlman-Marshall and here we have a game against Sblindo8. Just say hello. And we're playing as USSR. So let's get our setup done quickly. And we've got Korean War, socialist governments, so we're definitely going to be wanting to set up adjacent to Italy. If our opponent does set up 3 in Italy, we may be able to take it, although we have a relatively low ops hand. Probably not going to want to be giving them US-Japan early in the turn, so Comic-Con will be our ops for early in the turn. We've got CIA created we want to get rid of as soon as possible. CNS is a possible headline. Middle East scoring, we'll see how our coups go. If we do elect a coup early. So an interesting hand, not the best, but interesting. So CNS, is a fine headline turn 1. CNS is a fine headline turn 1, as is SocGov, depending on the setup. So we're getting 4 Italy. We are playing as an Italian player, so would expect Italy to be a little more heavily defended. I think we're happy with a relatively low ops hand. I think we're happier to throw CNS to the Wolves than we are SocGov at this point, particularly since we wouldn't be taking them out of Italy. And I think we'll keep some higher ops cards in our hand, potentially looking to attack Europe later. But since we've got Middle East scoring, I think this is a safer option anyway. Containment. Okay, so we really want this coup on Iran to be successful to try and neuter the impact of the US ops advantage here. We don't have any Asia access, which is annoying, so we do want to try and get some here through Iran, and then probably place into South Korea as soon as possible is the next priority. So let's try this coup, hope we roll well. 2 is not quite what we're after. So that's not a great start with a weak hand. Could have gone with the US-Japan pact, but since we have Korean War and we want to try and force the jam there, or get into a bit of a race in Korea, I think it was the right strategic option in the long run to take a slightly weaker coup to keep that as a slightly stronger option later. But didn't pay off for us there with a 2, unfortunately. So 3 ops going to be coming out here from this special relationship. Heading straight into Pakistan. So we don't have the war. So there's an argument, I think, here for us keeping DEFCON a little higher. It does give them the option to spread, but I don't think there's much we can do about that. There is an argument for coupping Iran again, but I think using another 3 ops to coup there is a pretty risky proposition, as well as giving them free reign in Asia. We don't want to be coupping with the China card on turn 1, but I think just putting a bit of pressure on here in Asia, we are going to have to get some presence in the Middle East soon as well. We do have a 1-op play in CIA created we're going to have to be careful of, which is we may actually hold to next turn, even though it might make us more vulnerable to this becoming a DEFCON suicide card. I think giving them CIA created when they're under containment is just not ideal. It's going to make it too hard for us to keep up with any kind of tempo this turn, although we of course do have to play this Middle East scoring card. So thankfully they give us NASA, which gives us a bit of an out. They're going to coup NASA straight away. Okay. Oh man. Oh, why do all my games lately start like this? Okay, so we're going to play from behind again on turn 1 here. Gosh, it does not get much worse than that. Well, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. At least get presence in the Middle East and stabilize things a little bit. I think, yeah, giving them 3 or 4 is going to be better than giving them 5. And we do still have the option to coup here to try and flip one of those, but I'm not sure that I am willing to spend the time doing that at this point. Although apparently, if you coup 2 stabs with a 2-up, you just roll a 6 and that's the way to go. But Yeah, not sure if I want to do that right now. So we've gone 1 Thailand, 1 Pakistan. Yeah, we could have gone 1 into Pakistan there rather than going to South Korea. So do we want to give them 1 VP, or do we want to try and coup here and press for domination? I think we are less likely to want to coup given that we don't mind DEFCON going up to 4 with them playing into the Asia Battlegrounds. So I think I'm happy to just give them the 1 VP and move on. The other option, of course, is to try and take Saudi Arabia or Israel, but we just don't have the ops really to do that. So I'm happy to say to them that they have the option to coup if they want to here. Because it's not a great coup. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. But then what are we going to do for the rest of the turn? I suppose we could go Saudi Arabia. The only other real spread options we have from our current position is to jam into West Germany, which is okay later in the turn, but easily repairable for them. But it does just give the France adjacency to us, which is a threat in itself with both of the France cards out there. Playing 1 into Pakistan is okay, again, threatening India, but I think I'd rather be threatening France at this point. So anyway, I think we're done this. I don't think we're going into Saudi Arabia this turn. They may have the Asia scoring card, in which case we will want to press into Pakistan. We could, of course, flip Pakistan, but I don't want to give the US the China card for turn 2. Okay, so it looks like they're going for that Asia scoring, but they don't have Asia scoring in hand because that was Cambridge 5. So they just want Asia domination. Fair enough. So this is AR5, so we can still play CIA created next AR if we want to, but I still don't think we will want to. I think we'll just play out this Korean War. So probably hold Formosan, just play this. Let's put the 1 into West Germany. At least forces a response from them. And sort of UN intervention as well. Okay. Ish. That's not ideal, but it does mean they're not holding D-Style through the reshuffle. So not the worst. Okay, so they push through to Europe domination there. Fair enough. That's what happens when you got all the ops, I guess. And I don't think we will play CIA. So we're going to be holding CIA. I said we're going to hold Formosa, but it doesn't make any sense. So 2 ops here. I think we'll go... We don't really want to go 1 Lebanon because it gives them a good coup. But we don't want to give them Lebanon either. So it's a bit of an interesting one. We can place 1 into Pakistan to give ourselves the India adjacency for next turn in case we draw Asia scoring. I think that's the way to go. They might have the war in hand and they might be happy to just go into India, but I think that's a fine thing for us to do. We're still not giving them, / we don't have any good coup targets for them at the moment. And we're currently safe on the CIA in terms of DEFCON. But yeah, definitely containment and then a strong hand, a rough AR1 for us. I mean, not particularly strong in terms of ops value, but this UN intervention did play a 4-op destalinisation, which is pretty insulting. And the 6 roll on the NASA coup was a big deal. Okay, so IP war coming in on Pakistan, and they get the 6 to kick us out of there. So at least we know IP war is gone for now, but that is a bit frustrating. Vietnam revolts is going to probably be the headline here. Very good chance we run into defectors, given we haven't drawn it, but that's okay at this point, I think. Decent ops hand for us. And we have got the opportunity to duck and cover coup Thailand if we want to give them the VPs, but I probably don't. I'm probably happy to just space duck and cover at this point. We've got AI war, which is a bit mediocre, but free ops for us, which is nice. All right, let's just get this into the defectors. Could have headlined CIA there, but no, we really don't want to give up on this Thailand coup. Okay. Coup Thailand. Oh, God. Oh, man. It's painful. It is just painful. I can't even. Well, that's going to be a big Asia scoring, no doubt about that. So let's go ahead and... Ooh, we're gluttons for punishment. We'll try a coup one more time here on Iran, I think. I mean, Egypt is worth 2 battlegrounds, though. So, I mean, it's harder for us to hold into the mid-war, but it does get us to Libya access. So I think we're happy to take that. So we're going to get pummeled in Asia, unfortunately. Very frustrating. Not a lot of strong events for us so far, sadly. Vietnam revolts. I mean, look, we could have held the Vietnam revolts for later in the turn, but since we were going to be coupping Thailand there, well, yeah, they had it all. That's annoying. Okay. Well, now I think is the time that we can get rid of this CIA created. And we've got to hope for the long road back. So we've got to redraw that D-style next turn to kickstart some VPs for ourselves. Otherwise, this is a big problem. And it's probably a big problem anyway, since both of those scoring cards came out on turn 2 for them. But we'll see. Because we haven't really got an easy path back into either Asia or Europe. We haven't drawn Decol yet for the France adjacency. I mean, we have adjacency. So I guess a headline de Gaulle would do it in Europe. They go to space and miss. So we'll go to space, I think, with this duck and cover. Succeed, which means we can space again if we want to, but I think we're just going to play out this Truman Doctrine and hold the EU for next turn. So we've got to really hope that Asia scoring doesn't come out early in the mid-war, rather after the reshuffle, that it comes out later in the mid-war. And we've got to hope that we draw de Gaulle next turn, and they don't redraw defectors, and they don't overprotect France for the end of the turn. Yes, one might say at least we've had a couple of 4s, but rolling a 1 on the NATO coup kind of killed that. Okay, well, there's the overprotection on France with the 5-year plan. And that does make things a little challenging. Perhaps we go 1 into Syria here to try and just get ourselves some VPs on the flip side. If we can redraw the Middle East scoring. But yes, undoubtedly a painful turn of 11 VPs going to them. Yeah, so it's going to have to be de Gaulle. Oh man. Marshall as well. Ah dear. Alright. So we do get the De Gaulle. We have a blockade, but we're not going to really be able to use it here. We have Vietnam Revolts again. Not too sure that that's going to accomplish too much for us since they had the spare ops to overprotect Thailand. I mean, I think we have to lead off with this and just try. Okay. Man. Oh, jeez. Alright. So coup with... Well, correct. We should probably hold blockade as a potential power card for later in the turn, although, you know, they're going to hold something for it, most likely. It's when you're this far behind, you've got to go for those Hail Marys a little bit. I think we'll coup Angola here to give ourselves the South Africa adjacency. Threaten to flip Zaire and take South Africa. So we'd have to desperately hope that they didn't redraw either of those scoring cards for their regions. We also are in this strange position as the USSR where you don't want to get to man in Earth orbit too quickly unless you can get up to Eagle or Bear has landed. But maybe turn 3 is early enough if we double space here that we're comfortable doing that, because we may choose to space both of those cards. It's just a question of whether we want Vietnam Revolts. I think with neither decol or particularly not decol, it's going to be a bit hard to make much use of Vietnam Revolts. So we are probably going to need to event this Fidel. We're probably going to have to trigger EEU. And I think we'll place 3 into Africa. We could place 3 into Saudi Arabia at this point, but I think going to Africa might be better, as in going to Zaire or South Africa. Zaire is probably worse because it's easier to flip back. Saudi Arabia are a more stable country and counts for scoring for OPEC as well. So perhaps let's go there and just try and ramp up that scoring bank if it does eventuate for us. And then we'll pay some attention to Africa later. Hopefully we do retain the coup, and Zaire is a great coup target. Obviously you can't be certain of that as the Soviets from turn 4 onwards. There are so many more ways for your opponent to get the coup, but we can hope at this point. So I think we are going to send Marshall to space. All right. So do we want to give them the opportunity to coup back on a non-battleground? I think we probably do later, but I think we're happy to kind of just leave that open for Shay at this point. But it does give us a little bit of a problem in Africa, particularly since we haven't drawn D-Stal for South America. We are going to be fixing things up a little bit with Fidel, but can we afford to take 2 ARs off here to space? And then maybe hold Vietnam Revolts for next turn? Maybe. I think that's probably a good plan. I think let's just space the duck and cover now. Ah, that's annoying. At least we get another shot at the VPs, I guess, but it would have been nice to get to headline peak this turn and then give ourselves a good chance of getting to Eagle or Bear has landed before they, like while we still had double space potentially, to get rid of some of those problem mid-war cards from our hand if we draw them. But c'est la vie. Alright, so playing into Mexico. We'll go ahead and space Marshall. Got the 2 VPs, which is nice, gives us a little bit of a buffer. Yeah, so we just have to hope that we can hold on to the coup a little bit in Africa here. And or drawing Shay next turn would be lovely as well. And we will get Cuba. Then we probably want to consider... Yeah, so we've got to consider whether we want to event blockade. It doesn't... I mean, I think if they had Europe scoring here, they just snap it off earlier. So perhaps we just put... I think we just are better off putting blockade back into the deck as a late war threat. Because, you know, they know we have it in hand. So if they're paying attention to card count, then they're just going to be holding back D-Style potentially or something else to pitch to the blockade. So I think we just don't need to be too desperate about that. We can either use it to coup Cameroon or Saharan states or to play into Nicaragua or Haiti, which I think is worse. But our opponent is running a bit hot, so I think they're probably just going to coup us out. Try and realign us out of Cuba anyway at +0. So they've given themselves the realign on Angola as a possibility. So they might try and realign both Angola and Cuba. Yeah. Good. Do like tempting people to realign Angola. For those of you who've watched lots of my matches, you'll know that that's always a bit of fun. Just go one into Botswana to retain some presence in the region if they try and realign us again. But that was a good little win. Got to take those little wins when you're coming out of the early war this far behind. One of the good things about having a strong position in the Middle East as the Soviets, though, is that you obviously get the double scoring potential on that from OPEC. Okay, so speaking of those cards that we would like to discard, we've got a few of them here. Ask not such an issue, because we should play that later in the turn. Voice of America, though, we're happy to still be able to space 2-op cards to be able to space that. We do have UN Intervention, which we're probably going to play with the OAS Founder, but maybe the Camp David Accords, considering the Middle East situation at the moment. And then the question is, do we want to headline Brezhnev or Vietnam Revolts and try and hold potentially Brezhnev for next turn? We haven't really got a great way to make use of Brezhnev in terms of spreading, but it is just good to have that extra when we're trying to coup. So, but it is, yeah. It would be helpful to try and threaten Thailand and to get on the board in Southeast Asia, I guess, is the counter consideration. But I think we can just fight for Africa, and Brezhnev lets us, for instance, take Israel and things like that. Okay. Bear Trap, one of those ways to deprive us of the coup. So I think we'll just put the Voice of America. I think we'll put the OAS Founded since we've got UN Intervention, actually. Just get rid of the lowest ops card. Well, just as I felt like we're getting back into the game. The old fail the Bear Trap roll. So they get to coup us out of Angola and they get another action round. I mean, it's getting to the point with this game, it's so lopsided in terms of ops and events that they almost don't have anywhere profitable to play anything. Well, at least we're going to get a couple of VPs from this, I suppose. Okay, so they get the free. Let's go into... yeah, we'll get rid of the West America now because we can UN Intervention the Camp David Accords if we want. They get the free Let's Walk into Venezuela, which is interesting. Interesting and mildly to severely annoying. They got IP War, also mildly annoying. At least we got 3 VPs from We Will Bury You. But Africa's, I mean, I assume they would have just snapped off Africa scoring for 11 points if they had that there. So given that we can probably presume they don't have Africa scoring, I think we can coup Colombia here because it is worth a couple of VPs for us to get in there. So unfortunately we're spending 3 ops because we Brezhnev doctrined. We're spending 3 ops on this coup, but that gives us at least a decent chance of a good success. And the other advantage there is that we have adjacency, so can do some good jamming. Likewise, we can do that in Zaire and Angola at the moment because they elected not to coup us out of Angola. They used the "we will bury you." So they're giving us Shay. Wow, okay. This is taking a turn for the better. So 1, 2. And then maybe cooing us in one of those non-battlegrounds. That's a pretty bad negative tempo play. Or just going into Brazil. Going to Ivory Coast, okay. To protect themselves from the rail lines. Well, I think we're happy to start flipping the African battlegrounds. The question is that what we want to use our ops advantage this turn on? I mean, it doesn't seem like a bad way to use it. So we can flip Zaire first and then either Angola or Nigeria. So we can flip and go 2 ahead in Zaire. Which, yeah, I think we do want to do that. We could have started walking across South America as well this turn to Ecuador and Peru. We might try and at least get one into Ecuador just in case we don't draw Allende here. So we might want to... I mean, they've indicated that they might not have the best rest of their hand by playing Shay that action round and playing We Will Bury You AR1, so they might have a bit of a tough hand. Oh, okay. Bit of a tough hand. Not so much. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that protects them from most things that we could have thrown at them. So then we can Vietnam revolts to start threatening Thailand, but I think we want to get one into Zaire. I think we probably want to get one into Botswana and one into Ecuador here. Just so that if we do get the coup next turn on Angola, we're threatening South Africa as well. So they still have a couple of reasonable points banks in Europe, Asia and Southeast Asia, but I'm reasonably confident we're going to be able to flip Africa back to an advantageous position for us at some point. South America is not looking ideal, Central America is even, but I'm also, mildly confident we'll be able to do something in South America. Okay, they got D-style again, also annoying. AR6 for us. So we've lost, I think Decol is out, isn't it? Yeah, so both Decol and D-style out for us twice. So no chance of drawing them till turn 7. We don't really have any other way to access Southeast Asia other than this Vietnam revolt. So we're giving up quite a bit to play it here. But it's just not doing heaps for us on an overprotected Thailand when we know we're not drawing Decol either. So I do think it's going to be better for us to move across towards Chile here. And then we've got 2 more ops. So we could put 2 into Israel. We could go 1 into Angola, not good. 1 into South Africa, not good. 2 into Tunisia, not good. Afghanistan's not great, except that it, prevents us from losing another VP there. East Germany and Poland is not looking great, but I think we're okay with that at this point. I think we'd probably just go to Israel. Or it could be 1 Israel, 1 North Korea. Or 1 into each of the Koreas just to overprotect them a little bit. Yeah, I think we do need to protect against things getting worse in Asia. I mean, I know we have the China card here, but that could change at any point. And we can take Israel next AR if we want, but assuming they don't coup us out of Peru, which they might. Okay, how I learned. DEFCON 5, okay. So no NATO, so we can coup Italy, or we can coup Thailand. Yeah, I think we'll just coup Thailand. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, it just it can't be serious. Okay. So they did get rid of lone gunman. Astonishing. Oh, I can't believe that. Very bemusing. So it looks like we will probably get a coup next turn, and very possibly on Thailand, given DEFCON's at 5 again. Although, now that we have Europe scoring, we have to seriously think about whether we want to coup Italy instead. So we have junta. That means we can go junta into Muslim revolution coup Thailand, but that's not solving anything for us in either Africa or Europe. So we're probably better off coupping Angola, and then that kind of course forces them to coup anyway. So I think let's headline this. Okay, they get to go first. Very annoying. So it's probably one Israel, like maybe one Burma, one Vietnam, but also maybe one Nicaragua, one Haiti. We'll see. Neither of which I don't think will coup. If they do elect to go one Nicaragua, one Haiti. Okay, they go Argentina and Chile. So we'll go, I think coup to Mexico, coup Argentina is probably where we want to be. Although it is just a much easier realign for them out of Mexico. So do we want to go to Brazil or Venezuela? Maybe we want to go to Venezuela, coup Argentina. Yeah, not today. So we have Allende, which is going to be helpful later in the turn. But for now, we're just going to have to try and coup our way into a better position in Africa. So do we take the risk with a 1-op coup, or do we play a 3-op? I think we have to play a 3-op. I know that luck is not interdependent on your last rolls, but I'm just in a mood where I would be way too tilted by rolling a 1 coupping Angola here. So I think I'm just going to use a 3-op. And we rolled a 6, so could have used the 1-op, but that's okay. So now we've got to realign South Africa and then play into South Africa. So this is the downside of using our 3-op there, is that we now find ourselves in a little bit more trouble with sequencing our hand. So we could play Allende and then try and use Muslim Revolution. No, that's the other way around. We go Muslim Revolution. Well, we'll see what they do with the influence here. Because if they're just fighting for South America, then we might go... so we could even up country count in Europe here actually, by going 2 into Greece and but we kind of want to take this coup, I think. It's just about how much we don't really want to give them South America control. That's the issue. So think we just have to hedge against the South America control there. It would have been nice to try and even up Europe. It would have been nice to coup Nigeria, but we both don't have the, like, coupping with a 1-up on Nigeria there and giving up the chance to take Chile. If we rolled a 1, that would have been even, or even a 2, that would have been just absolutely dreadful for us. Or even a 3, like we had to roll a 4 or more. So it's only a 50-50 with a 1-up coup. Yeah, this array of 1-ups in our hand is not ideal. All right, so that sucks. We're going to have to give them some VPs here probably. Although it would be nice to realign. I think playing the China card for realigns here, not ideal, but also not the worst. It's worth quite a few VPs, so I think we might actually go for realigns because we can get them out of Zaire and South Africa potentially. So let's give that a go. Okay. Sometimes this game just makes me want to rip my own head off. Okay. Damn. All right. So how to handle this? We can coup Zimbabwe, or we can just realign South Africa. Realigning South Africa doesn't really get us there, so we're still giving them domination here. So I think we have to coup Zimbabwe and try and give ourselves the better realign on Zaire again. Although we now just only have 1 AR of plays before we have to play these 2 scoring cards. So these realigns just have to 100% be successful, or rather this realign, because we only have 1, because we've only got 1 playable 1-ups in our hand. So it's just a complete disaster, really. All right, well, they rolled badly at least. We can realign them out of Zaire because it's cheaper. Finally worked. So what do they do? At least we save ourselves some VPs there. And we even up Europe here with this Warsaw Pact, so it's going to be interesting if they avoid Europe. Might be able to sneak this Europe scoring under their nose. Nope, we did not. Okay. Get that Africa scoring out of here. All right. That's a good scoring card. There we go, up to 16. All right, so we're praying for OPEC. Please save us, because we are in a lot of trouble. They've even got the free realign on Cuba here potentially, which is pretty disgusting. But yeah, I mean, it's a good example of what happens when you don't draw D-style, don't draw D-call, and roll 1s and 2s on all the relevant coups as the Soviets. Oh. And fail all the relevant realigns. Oh boy. Absolute pounding. Alright, so South America scoring. Not necessarily going to kill us, given we've got some pretty good cards here. So this is a much better hand. Finally, a decent hand. So we'll probably go ABM, then try and coup again. The other option is to quagmire them, but we don't really have good ops then necessarily. Like, that's using ops that we would probably want to use to coup, and they haven't got no rat in play anyway. Yeah, I think we just want to go ABM, coup with Quagmire, and then Brush War, and try and get our own South America control if we can. I think that's our best chance. Alright, so probably not going to get South America control, but we can at least try and get them out of Venezuela. I think Venezuela's the way to go. Brazil is actually probably... Oh no, Brazil, they can just realign us out with grain sales, so... Yeah, I think Venezuela's the way to go. It's an easier coup because I've already got 2 ops in there. But also... oh, they get Quagmire. Okay, well that's good because they'll probably return it. And coup with grain sales. That was a lucky hit for us. In a way, if they return it. I mean, if they don't return it, it's still probably okay for us. But it's a little less good. Little do they know that's the card we want to use to coup Brazil next AR. Or Argentina. And then, of course, we don't want to get tunnel vision on South America. There are some other places that we can potentially use this brush war, like we can brush war Panama. But I think if we are successful on our next coup, if we get one. Okay, so we're not getting a coup, so that's okay. We don't have to worry too much about that question. We can just place into Venezuela, Zaire, and then let's think about the rest of the turn. Yeah, so I think we probably do need to brush war in South America. We have enough countries that that's going to be successful. We're in trouble in Central America, but there's not much we can do about that. This AR. I think the one in Israel... One in Israel or one in Zaire. I think just overprotecting Zaire is okay because they've currently got the in of, queuing elsewhere. I mean, Zaire is a bad place for them to go at this point, but things can change very quickly in Africa. So, okay, well, that's the game. GG. Well, thanks for watching. Not the best game in many ways, but that happens sometimes. So, congratulations to our opponent, and yeah, no D-style, no decol, bad rolls. That's what's going to happen to you as the USSR, unfortunately. As well as, I think it was relevant that Asia and Europe scoring coming out on turn 2 and then going back in for turn 3. If they come out only on turn 3, then it's a lot better for us. Asia didn't come out again in the end, but that was what it was. Europe, they got twice, and we played a valiant defensive game, but Middle East, once we had control of the battlegrounds, didn't come out again, nor did OPEC, so unfortunately we had no way to get those VPs back. And then by the time we had something going on this hand, they were within a striking distance of victory. So well played to our opponent, and we'll see you next round. Thanks for watching.